Hey DJ Tech Tools, this is Ian Golden, and on our forums, one of our forum members asked how to get a drum roll effect with Traktor. So let's go ahead and look at that really quickly. There's a couple specific things you need to know if you want to do that effectively. There's two windows you need to open first of all. You need to open the loop set window and the loop end window. These both can be opened by right-clicking and selecting those windows from the drop-down menu here, loop end and loop set. These are the two settings you need to have. They're kind of important because the way I personally create that drum roll effect and the way I find that it's easiest to create it is to set a loop by first start a track. Go ahead and set in a loop. So we've got a loop running and move the end So that's how I personally like to do it. It's clean, it always works well, and it works this way. First, you need to make sure you have snap off, because if you have snap on, the smallest loop length it's going to allow you to go to is a whole bar or one count. You won't be able to get into those micro loops. And you also need to define this to loop half. You can right click and define the length there. So you want loop half right here. So it's going to divide whatever loop length you've set in half. And then basically I have two buttons assigned to two functions. The first button is assigned to this loop, and this is definable in whatever loop length you want. 6, 8, 4, whatever's appropriate. I find 4 or 8 is a good one because you can always go down from there by assigning a second button to this. Those, of course, can be found in your MIDI setup page. Add deck loop length loop end. Loop end, it's kind of confusing. Oh, loop end forward. Yes, loop end forward number 1. So that's a variable. And then we want loop deck loop. There we go. Deck loop. Deck loop and deck loop length end forward. Again. So those are the two things I assigned 2 buttons to on the VCI 100 Special Edition, and using just those 2 buttons I can accomplish most of the things I want to in loops. That loop end number 1 is that. You can also assign it to loop end number 2, loop end number 3, but generally I find dividing a loop in half pretty much accomplishes just about anything I want, and certainly this particular task, which is shortening a song into a micro drum roll. Now, while this is very cool doing, in the middle of a song, I find it to be extremely helpful if I'm mixing out of a track. So let's go ahead and play that guy and get this other one ready. So that's one way that I like to use it. And at the end, I threw in a little extra personal trick of mine, which is when you get down into the micro region, which is something like 30 seconds or 60/4, you can then use the pitch bend to bend that loop upwards to a higher and higher tempo, creating the sense of build and drama, which blends really perfectly into the new track, and if not used too often, really excites the crowd. So visit us at djtechtools.com. traktor.com, where you can get all kinds of information on digital DJing and Traktor and just about every tool out there that's going to allow you to rock the club.